said we'd never make it on our own, but we're hustling and grinding, so we're proving them all wrong. Every day we're coming closer than we ever could have known, and we don't listen to haters cause we live and die alone. They never understand the struggle that we've done. We've been in a tunnel of a pain for way too long. We gon' make it out together on our own. There's no stopping the inevitable once it has so wrong.
Welcome, fight fans, fight scorers, we are back. And we seem to have an echo. So I'll just get that sorted out right now. So, welcome fight fans. It's good to be back. We are having another interactive live stream. I've got Kaiser Colbert joining me momentarily. We're going to be discussing the last couple of weeks' events and fight results. Then we'll be jumping into our video and we'll be scoring and watching the Hagler versus Leonard fight from 1987. We'll discuss that shortly. And then we will have a bit of a look ahead into the next couple of weekends coming up. Some big fights coming up, so that'll be quite interesting to get Kaiser's thoughts. If anyone wants to put any questions or thoughts in the chat as we are discussing, feel free to join in. And yeah, let's get to it. Let's welcome my co-host Kaiser Colbert. You're on the line. How are you doing, my friend? How's it been?
Back on YouTube, just diving into the deep end. So this is partially why I'm a big fan of the a big hardcore fan, and why I watch all these classic fights. So I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah, me too. We were just saying off air before we came online that I watched this and I have a scorecard in the system, but it was from 2017. I can't really remember how it went. But it'd be quite good to see how I score it this time when I've got you with me discussing it, because we do seem to be able to convince each other sometimes about what we're seeing, but not always. So it'll be quite interesting to see how that tallies up with my previous scorecard. Like I said, it was 2017, so that's 5 years ago since I watched this fight. Looking forward to it as usual. So let's get into just a recap of the last couple of weekends' boxing results. I've not really seen a lot of this, so we can just kind of touch on the results, and we can concentrate on the fight that we both watched, which was the Kiko Martinez-Josh Warrington fight from last weekend. We might as well start there and concentrate on this one. Ahead of time, it was an intriguing fight because for me it was a case of there's quite a few unknowns really. Josh Warrington, we thought, could have been a little bit frail after being beat up by Lara and having quite a long time out of the ring, I guess. And obviously Kiko Martinez was coming in off that huge upset win. Bit of a Cinderella story. It was becoming a little bit of a journeyman, I guess, up until that point. And he was expected to be beat off Galahad, and he was being way outboxed until obviously he landed those sweet power shots, which he's always got in his arsenal, but it wasn't to be for Kiko. Josh Warrington proved a bit too much. He was back to his best, maybe. He just swarmed Martinez, and to be fair, it lasted a bit longer than I anticipated after a pretty bad first round, so it was a good result for Warrington. Did you got to watch this fight, didn't you, Kaiser? Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you could have said it best. He just swarmed him, really.
Yeah.
It's the kind of Warrington has these underrated kind of fast hands and combinations that you kind of saw in the first few rounds against Frampton, where you seemingly just swinging hooks from all angles and suddenly, you can't really get out of the way of them. Kind of underrated attacking kind of power that he has. May scored that kind of really, really perfect right hand that put Martinez down. I kind of thought that was going to be the end of it. Thought, 1, 2, maybe 3 rounds. But to be fair to Kiko, obviously, he got his way back into it. I think he did stun Warrington a few times, especially with the kind of the sneaky lefts. I think kind of had Warrington kind of rocking back on his heels just for a few seconds.
Yeah.
I never thought Warrington was really in any bad trouble on getting knocked down or really losing too many rounds. I think I gave Warrington every round. So it was a composed performance from him. I do agree with most people. I think Warrington was pretty rough. Coming in with the head and kind of manipulating him with the shoulders. I did put it out at the time. Obviously, Kiko hit him on the break. I thought Kiko probably deserved the point there because obviously it was clearly an intentional foul. But Warrington deserved more than one. He deserves, I think, probably at least 2 deductions by the time we hit probably the 6th round.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. There was a lot of people shouting about the tactics of Warrington, but he's kind of always had that style, hasn't he, where he uses his shoulder a bit and kind of his head goes in quite a bit, and it's awkward, but I think he's always done it. I don't think it's like a malicious thing, but it's also not really great to see. It's not a nice strategy, but I guess it's works for him. There was a lot of people that mentioned about that, because it's turned fights for him before in the past, hasn't it? So yeah, I guess Martinez, everyone probably wants to see Martinez retire now after that. I tweeted about it after the fight that, all of a sudden he's gone from being the world champion, or having a belt at least, to going back to that journeyman gatekeeper status for the division. But I think he's earned plenty of money, so I think he should probably retire because he's been around forever. He's been in a lot of wars, and he's been beaten up a few times. But for Warrington, there's, it puts him back up near the top. There's plenty of options out for him. Does he go for the Lara rematch? I think a lot of people would say he needs to stay away from that one, and you wouldn't blame him for it. What do you think is next for Warrington?
Yeah, in regards to the Lara rematch, I don't think it's going to happen. I think.
No, I don't.
I think we kind of discussed this briefly, maybe last week as well. But it's too much power. I think it's just going to be another knockout again. I did see there was talk of maybe him going stateside, maybe a fight with Santa Cruz. That'll do obviously some decent money. So that makes sense. There'll be probably bigger and better paydays for him than Lara. Obviously represents probably at this rate more risk, at least to get knocked out.
Yeah. That'd be quite an interesting one with Santa Cruz, actually. We're really giving that one a thought, but yeah, that could be a good match. Might be like a good timing as well to catch him, because he might not quite be the fighter he was 4 or 5 years ago.
Also, it'll probably be a good fight as well because both have decently fast hands. Both can rack off a combination though. I think they'll probably start trading a bit earlier than most expect.
Yeah. And who would you favour in that?
That's a good shout, actually.
Yeah.
I think it'll be close, but I don't know.
I think
if Santa Cruz can get off the jab, I can probably 7-5 either way, but.
Yeah, I'd edge it for Santa Cruz. I'd put it in his favour.
Yeah. I think so. The little bit better boxing skill probably at this rate. But
yeah.
Never know.
And more powerful. I think Warrington could cut up easily as well against someone like Santa Cruz. And that could be a factor. Especially if he goes in with his head.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the undercard of that was Maxi Hughes and Ryan Walsh. I didn't see this fight, but I believe that Hughes won pretty much every round. When I did see that was a matchup beforehand, I thought that could actually be quite an intriguing contest because, Ryan Walsh has some decent boxing ability. I know that he's past his best probably by a few years, and Maxi Hughes has had something of a bit of a resurrection in the last few years, hasn't he? After he took quite a few earlier defeats.
Yeah.
So I think I saw people was quite impressed with Maxi Hughes. Any thoughts on that one or the future for them two?
Yeah, I'd probably echo what you said again. Actually, I think Hughes did well. I think majority of people gave him every single round. Walsh just looked a bit slow. I think you said a bit past his best. That's probably been pretty fair. Yeah, I think it's onwards, not words for Hughes, and I think Walsh probably has a few more decent lower level domestic fights he can go into,
Yeah.
and probably have some decent success. Um, but yeah, Hughes is just looking to kind of build up the wins again and move on to bigger scenes.
Yeah, might get a bit of a final payday at a push, possibly.
Yeah.
Be a good way to go out. Cool. All right, let's move on. In the States, Tim Tszyu made his debut over in America, and he got the win. It was a decision win, wasn't it, over Terrell Gausha? Again, I didn't see it. Have you seen anything? I don't think you watched it, did you? But have you seen comments about how it was, how Tim looked? There's a lot of excitement for Tim Tszyu, obviously. It's quite an exciting prospect.
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces, obviously. Gausha scored a really nice right hand, put him down, just kind of flash knockdown, but I think Tszyu obviously showed the kind of composure to kind of get up and seemingly kind of win every single round after that.
After that, yeah.
Yeah, the scorecards obviously been widely criticised for being too generous. While the judges had it at a point, I think most people gave Gausha maybe. I've seen people just give him about 2 rounds really. So once again, judging's proven to be poor. But yeah, it's a great stepping stone for Zeus. Obviously, I think he'll be looking at title fights very shortly.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on, isn't he? It's quite a decent amount of talent in the division around him. There's Charlo and Castano. Erickson Lubin, he fights next week as well. Kurbanov and Fundora, Hughes fighting Lubin. So yeah, interesting to keep an eye on Tim Tszyu. I've only caught possibly 2 of his fights, I think, but he looks pretty decent and exciting. So yeah, be interesting to see how he does going forward. What else was there? We can just briefly mention that Elvis Rodriguez got a win over Velasco as well. That might have been on the same card. It was the same date anyway. And also last weekend we saw Miguel Burchell lose to Jemiah Nakathalia from Namibia. Bit of a puncher, and in fairness to Kaiser, when we last spoke about this, you did say that it depends on how shop worn Miguel Burchell was, and so it proved. You was right. You can take some glory in that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about this off air, but obviously the last few years, if you're kind of a hardcore boxing fan, you're noticing these types of upsets everywhere. So now, a few years ago we probably would have laughed this off and said no way, but now, you can never really be sure. And I think for Burchell, I think it's retirement. I think that the chin has gone, the punch resistance is gone. It was a bad beating, a bad knockout. So I don't think he needs any more punishment. But yeah, obviously, congrats to Nakatila. Obviously, he's got a decent name under his belt there. So he'll be promoted for that.
Yeah, I agree. And I was one of them, to be fair, on the last time I spoke about this. I was kind of saying, it looks like that's a bit of a knockover job for Burchell to, bounce back and get his win. Obviously, that didn't prove to be the case. Yeah, like I say, maybe Burchell he's done and dusted. That loss to Valdez has done a number on him, and maybe it is time to retire. And speaking of which, time to retire, Lee Selby also had a fight last weekend in Argentina. He got stopped mid-rounds, I believe. Can't quite remember exactly. He's been around for a long time, and he admitted at the end of that fight that he can't really go toe-to-toe with these younger fighters anymore. I think he was in with an unbeaten Argentinian in his mid-20s. Probably going to be the end of the line for Lee Selby, who's had a pretty decent career. Also, last weekend, Felix Sturm was in action. He had a loss. Probably another one that should have retired many years ago. So yeah, it's quite a weekend for the older fighters last weekend. Also on the Friday, Lewis Ritson got a win over Dejan Latikanen. I can't pronounce his name. We touched on that briefly last time. I think we both kind of said we'd expected a Ritson stoppage. I can't quite remember if he got the stoppage, or was it a points? It was a unanimous decision, wasn't it? Yeah. But a pretty comfortable win in the end. That's the last couple of weekends of fights covered. I guess we will talk about the upcoming bouts after we watched this week's fight, which we can move on to, I guess. So it is coming up to the 35-year anniversary for Leonard versus Hagler. It was in 1987, if my maths are correct. And it's a hugely controversial fight and an all-time classic. I think it gets debated to this day. Do you have, like usual, a little bit of background for us while I get us set up for the live stream?
Yeah, this is probably one of my most researched fights. I've read not one but two books on this fight, so I'm unusually well prepared for this.
Incredible. Go ahead.
But yeah, this one was probably the super fight of the 1980s. Obviously, Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the Fabulous Four. He's only had one fight in about 5 years, which was at 154. Detached retina, obviously eye problems. Just kind of causes that whole premature retirement. Hagler obviously becomes the de facto pound for pound number one, the big star in the sport. Obviously, the fight with Duran, unifying middleweight, and then obviously the incredible war with Tommy Hearns. He becomes the star, and eventually becomes the point where Ray Leonard is watching this fight with Mugabe, who's the number one 154 in the world at that point. 25 wins, 25 straight knockouts. Mugabe obviously moves up to challenge Hagler. Hagler has a war with him. Ray Leonard's ringside. He sees that Hagler's starting to slip, and obviously in this kind of drunken state, he says he can beat Hagler, and then a few calls are made, and then it finally happens. And let's just say Leonard was not favoured to win this. Obviously, this would be the first time he was fighting at middleweight. Obviously, he's been inactive for 3 years. Obviously, he's had eye problems as well. So, I think 47 out of 50 sports writers picked Hagler to win. I think the majority picked by knockout. I mean, I don't think there's any real modern day comparison. It'd be like, when Keith Thurman beat Danny Garcia and retired for 2.5 years or whatever. It'd be like him coming back to fight Golovkin. No one in the world would pick Keith Thurman to win. So it's just an incredible feat. Regardless, but yeah, can't wait.
Cool, man. Thank you very much for that introduction. So as you can see on the screen, if you are scoring this, we was now or in the future, if you come across this video at a later date, you need to be registered to be able to join our live stream group for this specific episode. So you head on over to fight-go.com/register. You can sign up there within a few seconds. Once you are signed in, you can go to the group section, which is there on your dashboard on a tab at the bottom of the page, and you can enter a code 5C24DC and click the join button. That will put you into our group. You'll be able to see other people's scorecards that join the group. You'll be able to compare how your scores are against them. You'll see us using that functionality as we watch this fight. And if you want to go to the actual scorecard itself for this fight, there is a link in the YouTube chat. There's also a link in the video description, and it is also on the screen at the bottom if you want to manually enter it in. You can also find this. In fact, that's the wrong URL, I've just realised. So don't worry about what's on the video at the moment. It is in the description of the correct link. And you can also find this fight in the classics section of the website as well, if you know where to look for that. So, without further ado, we might as well get on with the fight. I've put it to the start of the first round. I think we've avoided the intros. So, let's take it away. We will watch and score this. We'll add a bit of our own commentary to it as well.
It is April 6, 1987. Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy are ringside to call the super fight.
Yeah, the Caesar's Palace Las Vegas packed, filled with celebrities as well. It was the more the cultural events of the 80s.
Yeah, this would have been the place to be, wouldn't it? To be seen for their Instagrams of the day.
There's anything kind of anecdote in the route about U2 being on concert in LA, in Vegas rather, and just finishing concert and just going to see this fight with their tickets. So, you could just do a rock concert and then just go catch the fight.
Yeah. A great night that'd be.
Yeah. There's a quick left hook and then a quick jab by Leonard. Obviously his feet are just so much faster. There's the jab through the guard again. The classic, obviously, case about this was Hagler coming out orthodox. Obviously he was a natural switch hitter, but obviously his southpaw was obviously the name of the game, and obviously you'd want that as an advantage in a boxing match against a kind of technician like Leonard rather.
Yeah. Just quickly say that this video isn't the best of quality. Unfortunately, that's just the way that this video is on YouTube. So apologies for that. There might be a better quality videos out there, but this is what we'll stick with. We're going to get the gist of it.
Yeah.
That was a nice combination.
Yeah. And there's another quick left. I think it's been about half the round over, and it's clearly Ray Leonard's round. Yeah, it's half the round. Obviously, is the ring general. Hagler's not landed the proper shot. He's landed the shots he's wanted to do. Quick combinations, like you said.
Hagler's following him around the ring a bit, isn't he? And he's just picking him off nicely, dancing around.
Yeah. Tactically, it's like perfect. This is exactly how he wanted it.
Could just hear the trainer shouting stick and jab or something like that. It was quite funny.
Now Leonard's boxing southpaw. Trying to do a sight job on Marvelous Marvin, and now Hagler's boxing southpaw. Tough to keep up with these guys. There's the shots.
Some nice body shots.
Yeah, holding behind the head and just trying to obviously mitigate the damage and cut off the action. Yeah, Hagler turning southpaw now. A bit less activity from Ray, but it's the 30 seconds here.
30 seconds to go, yeah.
This was the whole Leonard strategy, obviously have someone shout out 30 seconds, then try and land a couple of decent combinations, make sure that's the last thing the judges see.
Steal around, we spoke about that continuously.
Yeah. Very inactive in the last half of the round, but unfortunately Hagler's just done. It's not that he's not done enough. It's just that Leonard's he's been too quick.
Yeah,
it's around the ring.
Made him miss, and he's won. He's won that round.
Yeah. I think you said it as well. You said he's making him follow him. He can't cut off the ring. Leonard's just making him chase him and then making him look a bit foolish.
So as usual, we will watch the first 4 rounds, and then we will have a quick comparison of how our scores go. We can also say how we scored each round if we wanted to.
There's Angelo Dundee saying that it's all yours, you just have to mess him around. Obviously Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali's trainer. Obviously worked with Ray Leonard for the majority of his career, so he's one of the greats.
Legendary trainer.
Yeah.
I was thinking that actually before this. I was like, this is the era of 15 rounds, isn't it?
Yeah, it was coming to a close round this time, but it was
Right.
negotiated as part of the fight that it would be a 12 round.
So yeah, I just mentioned that.
Still on his feet. The footwork and it was called the kind of Ali style of dancing around the ring is really excellent from Leonard though, because he is just so quick.
You can tell he just knows precisely where he is in the ring, where the ropes are,
Yeah,
and where he's going to go to get out
it's
of
that
range.
kind of natural timing as well.
Yeah.
That you're kind of mentioning there that he doesn't really need an active guard. He doesn't need his hands up because he can just step out of range and maybe turn with the shoulder and nothing will land clean. A bit of hold and hit there. I think Hagler's been a bit more active behind the jab. Nothing too clean from Leonard yet. I think the right hand kind of overhand right.
Yeah, overhand right kind of landed, but then he took a few body shots on the inside.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great avoidance.
Thing with Leonard was obviously he just kind of clinches, puts the hand around the head, and then just holding down. Hagler just cannot get the power he wants on the inside though. He's just really tapping to the ribs instead of just getting the full kind of right hook on.
I think Marvelous Marvin is making a mistake. He's trying to prove that he can outbox Leonard. It's not necessary. Just try to win the fight. And therefore, Ray has done a side job on him.
Bit of a more difficult one to score this.
Yeah, Hagler's been.
He's had a little bit of
a lot more
success.
Yeah,
More busy.
that was a bit dodgy coming in the head there in the clinch. But yeah, Hagler more busy. Yeah, I think you definitely argued the effective aggressor so far, but Leonard is using the ring well, still keeping tight, but he's just not been busy enough. We'll see if he tries to steal around with some good hard shots. Use my hand though. Very few and far between.
Yeah. Oh, that was a great little combination there. 30 seconds to go now.
Into the 30-second mark of round 2. Good counter punch by Leonard as a lunging fist by Hagler. Hagler now pulls him for the first time in the fight.
Like I say, you can just tell, can't you? He's woken up now for this last 30 seconds, and he's
That's all he wants to do is just
steering
mitigate all the
around.
damage he can and then just
Oh, it's a great exchange there.
And it's strange though because in a way Hagler's the effective aggressor, but Leonard lands probably almost as many punches as Hagler did throughout probably the whole round, just in the last 30 seconds, just because by virtue of his hand being so fast and he's such a great combination puncher. Yet you'd probably argue those head punches are a lot more effective than the shots Hagler's landed to the body. So obviously Hagler is consistent in the body attack, but it's not quite as Leonard's clinching him or taking it close, and Hagler can't get the full extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's always I thought was one of the closer rounds in the fight.
Yeah.
I think Leonard does land the best punches, and you could actually maybe give it to the good defensive work as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm going to give it to Leonard as well.
Yeah,
Just for
I
that
feel like
last 30 seconds, I guess.
yeah, people obviously may kind of decry that and say, but Hagler's punched throughout the round, but the truth is though, is that you're scoring it on defense, ring generalship, and clean effective punches. And
Exactly.
you have to, it's 3 minutes, and in those 3 minutes, he scored better in those categories. And then Hagler comes out for southpaw, so he knows he's got a challenge in front of him. It's not going to be an easy night at all.
Mm-hmm.
There he goes to the right, now back to the left this time. Left-handed by Hagler, his first heavy punch of the fight. Much better as a southpaw, Tim. That's why
We're getting a bit
He's
busier
really
now.
trying to angle that left, yeah.
we scored them both for Leonard. Now would expect the judges did as well.
This is interesting. If you look at their feet in terms of the footwork, obviously, Leonard's obviously going into the path of the left hand, so you can immediately see Hagler trying to throw it as like a kind of overhand left because he knows Leonard's going to go into that direction.
Yeah.
Right hand lead landed by Leonard.
just a glancing blow, Tim. The way Leonard is moving, he's moving right into a straight left hand.
Oh, good punch doing the same thing.
Shot by Leonard. Shot to the head by Hagler.
Again, the movement by Leonard as in round one.
Hagler's a little slow getting
So much chasing around.
Yeah.
Frustrating as hell to fight Leonard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good exchange. Could hear the thuds on them.
punched him in that exchange.
Scoring to the body.
And this is the thing we said about Leonard obviously having that natural timing and speed for defense that he could just kind of step out of range. Is that if he is coming out of range without his hands up, obviously Hagler's kind of going to throw that jab and just catch him on the way out.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good inside, right?
Right hand lead men. Leonard is quite I don't know what the word is, but you know, with the home behind the head and you know, kind of the home, the hitting, and then just kind of controlling it. It's effective use of dirty tactics,
Yeah.
you might call it.
Sneaky.
Yeah,
He wanted that. He said you've got to frustrate
and that push
Can't
as well.
push him.
warning for pushing against Leonard.
But that was significant, Tim.
Oh, great shot again.
Push to the supposedly stronger
And
Hagler.
now left hook. Those are the weapons against the southpaws as well. Obviously, you'll hear the right hand lead and the left hook, especially as leads, and then Sugar Ray Leonard really showed that how he knows how to box on.
Yeah. He's definitely landing the. Oh, that's another great combination there. I think this is easily his round.
Yeah,
I mean, Hagler was there. He was throwing, but
yeah.
yeah,
I definitely agree with that. I also think that left hook he landed in the last 5 seconds there was maybe the best shot of the fight so far.
yeah,
Because it
definitely.
landed so crisp.
3 rounds in the bank for Sugar Ray Leonard, even though Hagler came out in his natural southpaw
So we're coming up to round 4. We'll have a pause after this. But I think we both got it 3-0 for Leonard.
Yeah, I think most do. I think some people out there think Hagler nicked the second, but I think all things considered, I think Leonard does enough in that one.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, maybe shall we do a comparison at round 6 instead?
Yeah, that's fair.
I reckon we should do that. We're both at 3-0 at this point. We can, yeah, we can go at
Yeah,
round
it
6.
could be quite similar. Yeah. The pitching Ellie's obviously given Hagler his instructions. Obviously, they've been with him since the start. Very loyal, born fiend fighter and trainer.
Yeah.
Round number 4, both fighters on their feet early, but the stools were not out of the ring.
And
Left-hand
Hagler obviously
lead
going for the left
scored
lead.
by Hagler.
He's tried the right hook twice there, and Leonard's just too quick for it. Face the body, and then tries to switch orthodox for the left hook. But yeah, Leonard's defense reflexes for his defense are pretty on point here, and you wouldn't really expect that for someone who's been out the ring for 3 years. Usually, obviously, everyone's just suffers from some sort of ring rust. But
Yeah, it looks like he doesn't miss a beat, is it?
yeah, and usually with timing and ring rust, it's obviously, you take that punch, you think you're 1 inch out where you're 1 inch closer than you'd expect. So, but he is always knowing where he is in the ring every time.
Yeah.
His combinations, you were obviously mentioned earlier, his combinations are excellent, but I mean they really are though. He picks them so succinctly. It's only 2, 3, 4 punches he needs, but they're so quick and they're so eye-catching. Even if some of them are landed on gloves.
Low blow. And a hard low blow.
Just a good hard shot every time Hagler comes in even remotely close.
He's a little confused by Leonard, Tim. And he really can't find
That little move just summed it up pretty much today. Just run, do a little shimmy and run around him and out the way.
Yeah.
Follow me.
That's what we call a range finder.
Just kind of parrying the jab there and then a nice jab over the side and just ducking. And it's just the defense is too much. And Hagler's boxing. He's boxing smart in terms of, okay, he gets behind the jab, he'll switch up a bit, but he's not active enough. You heard the pitch and alley say, obviously you need to go rough this guy up, so realistically you need to be pushing around, try to get on the inside, and, really rough him up to the body, but here he's just coming behind the jab. It's too conventional for someone like Leonard, who is a better technical boxer.
Was Leonard a notable puncher, or was he more of a points
Yeah, he was
winner?
quite a good puncher, especially at welterweight and light middleweight.
Probably should have watched the intros to get that stat.
Good combination again. Leonard timing things perfectly.
I don't know why Hagler's laughing, Tim. The rounds are going in the bank.
There's a nice guy left hook across the
Walking away contemptuously.
goes away.
Said that it didn't hurt.
A bit of contempt from Leonard and even more contempt from Hagler after that, but that's another pretty clear win for Leonard in my opinion, because I'm not sure Hagler really won anything in terms of the criteria if you think about it.
No, he looked lost for most of the round, to be fair, didn't he?
Yeah, I think lost is a good way to describe it, because he really was. He really couldn't get going at all. There's the bolo punch.
Little wind up, but it was very low.
Yeah, right to the thigh.
Experts are wrong. I can do this. I can make this happen.
When you don't have any respect for a guy, Tim, you can do
If you're gonna throw that, throw it right, make it
Yeah.
land proper.
Proper bit of showmanship. Well, I think the majority of people had it 4-0 for Leonard by this point, and that's a third of the fight already.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see how you could have it any other way. Like you said, possibly 3-1 if you want to be kind to Hagler for that round 2.
Yeah. And he's really coming out strong now. Bull rushing. And they're just
I am getting kind of memories from when I was scoring last time. It was probably more of a tale of two halves where Hagler came on stronger a bit later on.
Oh.
But we'll see.
Well, so far, Hagler has landed 3 decent shots to the body. Leonard also scored a really nice right hand, but there's another one as well to double it up. You got into the shots as well. Oh, beautiful right uppercut left hook.
That's a good shot.
Hagler.
Yeah, nice.
There's some video calibration required at one point in 1987.
I think it needed it continuously.
Yeah. Yeah, Leonard obviously scoring really well with the counter punches here. But obviously, Hagler being more aggressive just gives Leonard the opportunities to time him and land full flush. But Hagler obviously targeted nicely as well. He's in that punching range, he's switching up to head and body.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get in closer, isn't he? He's getting picked apart otherwise. Kind of needs to get his head on the chest. It was a bit wild.
And Hagler obviously known as a 15-round fighter, and obviously great stamina. He'll have fresher legs. Obviously Leonard's been out the ring for 3 years, so he'll be hoping if he can force a harder pace and get Leonard to fight harder, that he'll probably stop him late. Lee Woods versus Nick Conlon, for example.
Yeah. No, he's having a better round, I'd say, now.
Yeah, this is Hagler's best round of the fight.
That was a great shot there.
He really scored with some good shots in this round.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, Leonard is having some nice counter shots on when he's coming in, but Hagler's relentlessness is paying off a bit now. Nice.
Yeah, I was reading Leonard's book, just passages before this fight, and I think Leonard was saying, obviously, this is all the Hagler really buzzed him there. That his legs dipped. He said he really did actually shake me pretty badly, and then he had to really kind of respond. Forced to the ropes and obviously throw those big combinations, but has a big shot
nicely
there.
on the end, out of the chin. Yeah. So we're clear. Hagler round.
Yeah. Leonard obviously good consistently, and in terms of going towards Hagler makes for great action, but that's where you pay the price though, and take that big uppercut, and obviously he gets shaken up. Couldn't say it any better really.
Don't let him join into a punch-in match. Sound
It's true,
advice.
He looks so good. He's so good boxing, and I think he was having a good round until ducks, controls the head, kind of jockeys him up, and then
Short left and a hard right from underneath, and that wobbled Ray. Knocked him backwards.
Here we see it again, Tim. A little closer range. Here's that uppercut.
I think Leonard's trying to look to hold on as well, and Hagler's just controlling the body, setting up on range.
Right then, round 6.
Tim, I think this is a key round.
So he's coming out fast again. Hagler
Can win this round. He's
probably got a Boyd from that last round with the success.
Yeah, Hagler's having more success with the right hand now. He obviously scored up the jab and with the lead right hook, and he had done that in the previous round as well. So nice counter jabs.
You can hear that in the corner. Good combinations there by Hagler, counter-punching well. Better timing.
Ray is starting to breathe a little heavy.
We can see that near the end of the 5th round.
I think what's interesting now is that we spoke earlier about Leonard obviously moving into Hagler's left, but obviously having the speed. But now he's moving to his left, obviously trying to get that lead foot dominance and obviously take away Hagler's southpaw advantage. So he's trying to box him a lot more conventionally now, stick to the basics.
Hagler starting to get the range, getting
On block,
very
he
wide.
came with the jab there. That was nice.
Breathe heavy. Ray
He's not focused so much on the right leads anymore. He's looked to Leonard's obviously looking to score behind the jab.
nothing
This
on
is
Ray's
nice kick
punches,
there.
Tim. Nothing at all. Beautiful.
I wouldn't say nothing, to be fair. I wouldn't be taking those jabs off Sugar Ray Leonard, no matter how many rounds he's had.
And lead landed.
There's nothing on the punches, Tim.
Leonard's just been so much busier, and he's still got enough
Slow right now.
stamina to kind of skip out of range and pivot away, take the damage out of Hagler's shots. Hagler's just not been busy enough. Look at that.
Cut off the ring.
Is he
Two
missing?
wide shots, and Leonard just avoided them both.
Nothing to make him miss. He's just missing.
Short punches inside by Ray.
Oh, look at that.
Hagler looking a little arm weary. Leonard punches back.
A decent combination from Leonard as well. He's having a great return round here.
Hagler does not look sharp.
Here's Hagler who can't find the range. There you go.
Leonard missed with an overhand right.
Hagler's right in that same spot as he had success previously, but it's just not working this round.
Twice Mitchie Steele won.
Leonard seems to have an answer. Great counter punching.
Yep. Oh, to the left. Left-handers has worked as a treat.
Very slow.
Short chopping right hand by Hagler.
Oh,
Great lead
right.
right, yeah.
Counting on the slowness of Hagler. He said he's lost a lot of speed. Final seconds of the 6th round.
Even when Leonard misses.
Oh, that's great.
Just brilliant comedy. Just switched the attack, didn't he?
Yeah,
Oh, that was a brilliant round from Leonard.
that
I
was
mean,
excellent, yeah.
so from getting hurt to really turning back to that was pretty special.
I think that was probably his clearest round so far. It was
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
very good.
Are we going to do the comparison now, or?
Yeah,
or do you
yeah.
wanna-
I'll pause it in a second. Just get my scores in. Okay, they're excited for round 7 there, and we're excited to compare our scorecards. So let's get to it. Let me find the correct place. Well, that's interesting. It's not worked. So give me a second. I just need to remove an initial scorecard, which I ended up starting and then not continuing with. Just give me a second and we will be there. Okay, something's not quite right with the comparison for me, so we might have to skip that for the time being. If you just want to rattle off your score at the moment, how have you got it? I've got it 59-55, 5 rounds to 1. Is that correct?
59-55. Yep. 5-1. Yeah, I think I've just checked the comparison on my screen, which is working, and yeah, we've scored it the same percentages as well, for different rounds, I think. But yeah, pretty much all even, pretty much the exact same.
Okay, cool. I don't know why it's not coming up for me. Wait. Yeah. We'll skip past and we'll continue, and we'll refer to your. When we do the comparison, we'll refer to whatever you're seeing on your screen without showing it, unfortunately, but that's fine. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue on.
Right. A little more pressure. Just keep him backing up. He's weak enough as it is. Do it punches and flurries. Okay? You gotta hang him up. Inside, rough him up inside. You gotta do it now. Throw more one punch at a time.
Chunk him off.
Alright? Get the block. Wrestle now. Punches and flurries, Marvin. See what he does this round. We're in the 7th round, scheduled for 12. Remember, it was Leonard who wanted a 12-round bout, not Hagler.
Yeah, Leonard going back to the combinations. Legs obviously aren't as quick. I think in his book as well, he said it was round 7 where he started to feel the fatigue as well.
Right.
In the fight. You know, the legs are starting to go, and you can see the bounce really isn't as prominent anymore. And Hagler immediately, obviously Leonard on with the left there. Hagler immediately trying to counter over it, but both exchange lefts there.
Solid punches by Hagler.
Hagler finding the range, and Ray Moore flat-footed here now, backed up into the Hagler corner.
Look at how slow Hagler is, Jim. What Hagler should be doing is just banging to the body. Ray is moving his head. The body doesn't move, it stays there.
There he goes to the body.
That's where he should be banging away. Ray looks like he has no strength, then.
Well, he was just pushed back by a forearm from Hagler.
He's going to have to find it from somewhere.
Leonard obviously still going to the kind of combinations, trying to deter Hagler, obviously kind of right hand, left hook, just some basic. But Hagler just not being deterred, just throwing everything from all angles, just hooking. With the left arms, just trying to get inside and just target the body. There's a nice uppercut as well.
Good movement by Leonard when the punches arrive.
That's nice combinations.
Yeah.
Hagler's landing the solid punches at this time, Tim. And Ray is
Yeah, I think what they're saying commentary is probably true. Hagler's got a lot more sting in the shots. Leonard's kind of put a shoe shine in, you know, just throw to land, sound good, and then move out the range.
Yeah.
I mean, that right hand lead there was just a tap.
Oh, that's
Dad
nice.
more sting on it. And Hagler just smiled at him.
Leonard gives him a grin back.
Last 30 seconds.
Nice combination. Working on the mind of Hagler.
Oh, it's a big miss.
Hagler just keeps plodding ahead as his workmanlike style.
Those are the solid punches.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good shot.
Those are the solid
Yeah,
punches.
and then to the body as well. Those hooks to the body.
Oh, nice
Oh, and the
uppercut.
uppercut as well.
At the bell. They don't hear the bell.
Oh,
Into round 7, the crowd on its feet.
That is interesting. Right, I'm just going to have to pause here for a second.
No, watch that ice, goddammit! Watch the ice! All right.
He doesn't want ice, okay?
Give me some deep breath.
Going back to the action at the end of the round, a little short chop.
Absolutely furious about the ice.
The fighters did not hear
Yeah.
the bell. Richard Steele steps in between them.
You have to do that. You get him against Wolf like you did there. That overhand fine and bring the uppercuts out. That was right. Drive him up. Get a little rough in there. Okay? It's all yours.
Okay. Just checking our comparison, and we're back in business. So maybe after this round, we can have a look at that. Okay.
okay.
Sweet.
No matter what the outcome now.
Good solid right jab by Hagler, Tim. It's almost like a straight right hand when he hits you with it.
As you pointed out, the first couple of rounds, time out here for something, some tape loose on the
Oh,
right.
that was a good
loose.
start from Hagler behind the jab, and now it's the tape.
Pointed out in the early rounds, Hagler not doing well.
I wonder if Angelo Dundee
in the orthodox
didn't fix that because he wanted to get Leonard some extra rest at the start of the round. Angelo Dundee is known for his tricks, obviously.
Yeah.
Henry Cooper against the early Ali obviously tried to buy him an extra few seconds,
Mhm.
ripping his glove, so it was quite a wise one.
We are early in the 8th round.
I always find it funny when Richard Steele says, obviously, Ray Leonard goes to clinch, no holding Ray. It just doesn't matter. He's just still going to hold on.
Yeah. That's what he does, man.
Yeah. What do you expect him to do? Just
Even if they were somewhat rusty.
The one punch that I'd be using if I was Hagler would be a straight left hand to the body to set everything else up. He hasn't been using that as yet.
Hagler's got the full extent of his punches now. You can hear them though. He's getting the full range with the right jab. He's working behind it, and Leonard got some bounce on the step, but he's got nothing.
He does look to be slowing down a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, the power isn't really there. He tried
Oh.
a nice right uppercut there that had some and all that, but it didn't land.
Mhm.
It's been a great run for Hagler. There's a nice uppercut as he tries to sidestep
Yeah.
away.
Rocked his head back a bit, that one.
Yeah, a good run for Hagler. Nothing really landed there of significance.
I can't believe Leonard's legs, Tim. Moving beautifully.
That was a nice shot.
Yeah. Nice quick eye catch and stuff.
He's back on his toes a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Hagler's able to move right through him. Leonard hit him with a right hand, didn't move him. He was able to counter with a left hand to the
A nice combination again. But I think Hagler's winning so far. Just that relentless pursuit of him.
Just throwing and landed more throughout the round, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And Leonard really did quite a big few combinations if he wanted to steal it at this rate. And even when he's holding on there, Hagler still punching him out the side.
Yeah.
Almost right to do, you know.
That was a nice combo again, and he's landed a few like that.
Yeah.
And then
That's
another,
when he's-
another nice crisp right.
The good thing about Hagler is that whenever he never lets Leonard really win the exchanges though, is if Leonard lands like that, he exchanges
gonna
with
throw
him.
it
You know, if he leaves,
Back, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna punch off him, punch him with him really.
Now that's a mistake. That is a mistake.
Oh, there's a nice uppercut on the inside as well. Yeah, Leonard made it more competitive, but he's not done nearly enough to take it from Hagler, and just been so consistent throughout the round, overbearing.
Yeah. He was
Yeah, and I
persistent.
want to pick up on this.
Go ahead.
Richard Steele was quite lenient to Leonard as well. Sometimes you notice things when you watch sport for a while, and referees rarely do anything at the top level, interrupting the fight. But Leonard has been pretty consistent on the fouls in terms of grabbing behind the neck, came in close quite a few times, almost led with the head, not so much, but I mean twice he's punched on the bell. I think he punched as well. Yeah, he scored with a few low blows, especially the Bolo low blow. I mean, you could probably count at least 10 separate fouls. So it's not good. Are you on mute? I can't hear anything.
Sorry, I was on mute. I'll start again.
Sorry, my internet cut
Okay,
out earlier.
round one then.
I thought my internet
We had
cut
that
out.
exactly the same. 65-35, 10-9 to Leonard, and controlled the action. So that was exactly the same. Round two, we know we both scored the first 4 to Leonard. We had conflicting percentages and reasons. I'll just quickly gloss through the first 4. So we both thought that Leonard controlled the action for round 4. We just had different percentages. That's fine. Round 5, I thought we both thought Hagler won. I gave him a little more in favour at 65%, and I suggested dominated most of the round, which is probably a little bit kind, because it wasn't a really dominant. You suggested had the opponent in trouble, which it was the round that Leonard looked a little bit rocked and he sagged a bit, didn't he? Round 6 then was the bounce back round, clearly for Leonard, 70-30. We had that exactly the same. And then in round 7 we had a difference of opinion, which is always good. Close round. I went with the effective counter-punching, and I will kind of just highlight that was the round when I'd realised that my scorecard had cocked up, so I was slightly distracted for a portion of that round, so maybe I wasn't a very effective judge for that one. But you went for Hagler landing the cleaner and more effective shots, but it was a pretty close round. You gave it 45, 50, 55, as close as it can be. Would that be fair? Round 7 could have gone either way.
It's one of those ones where it depends what you like in a way, because obviously Leonard's still moving, not as effective, but he's still
Are you
throwing and
muted
landing.
there, Kaiser?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can't seem to hear you, mate.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
And there's still no sound for Kaiser, unfortunately. Try again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear now.
Good. Leonard was still throwing and landing, still kind of boxing, lateral movement. I think it was just Hagler was probably had a bit more steam in the shots. Obviously, Leonard making it competitive, but I think Hagler did enough.
Okay, no worries. And then the last round, round 8, looks like we got exactly the same, so we gave it to Hagler. 10-9, 60% to 40%, and landing the cleaner, more effective shots. All good. The scorecard comparison is working. my sound hopefully is now working. Quite a few technical issues this week, but hopefully we'll get through it. Let's continue, and I'll make sure that I put up the fight video so people watching can see. Right, let's go ahead. Round 9.
This is the round of the fight.
Okay, well, you've hyped it now. Looking forward to it.
Angelo Dundee says, do you want a box for Maywell? Don't think you'll be pleased with what happens here.
Leonard was very tired before. He may be getting his second win, and Hagler may be getting a little tired.
Right then, straight in, trade in.
Vicious body punch by Hagler, though, Tim.
He's putting everything he has in those left hooks as well. Those shots from Leonard are you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of it. Anyone from 160, let's just say.
Mhm.
And he sets up the right uppercut as well. Good start from Leonard.
Yeah, very good start.
Yep, one warned again for holding. And Hagler. And they get to the inside. Working to
Yeah,
the body.
that's where he wants to be.
Leonard dipping and ducking, but took a left hook
He
to the
did,
head and
yeah.
it was really nice.
Yeah.
What if it just sapped him a bit.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Yep,
You can see he's a little bit troubled by that, I think.
he switched up to the uppercuts. There's some big shots.
Yeah, and a
Watch
couple
him
around the
from
side
Leonard.
of the head.
Look at all those jabs as well.
Yeah, and they were meaty jabs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look at
that's
that combination.
great comeback.
That head movement.
That took something, didn't it? Wow. How do we score this one then? Jesus. That is a bit...
You still got a bit of the round to go.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, there's a nice left hook.
Oh, he's slowed right down again there now. Did something buzz him there? Oh, it's a great shot. Oh, wow.
So much speed and accuracy.
It's an absolute war.
Yeah. Still got 30 seconds as well.
Oh.
Oh, that's a big shot. I think Leonard's been stunned a few times throughout their end as well.
Mhm.
Like he's really just fighting back just to keep Hagler off him. But
I mean, he had the more eye-catching flurries and shots, but the fact he's kind of swaying a bit and sagging a bit at here, he's kind of exhausted himself. Is that just fatigue from the amount of shots that he threw, or from damage that Hagler did?
yeah, I think it's definitely a bit of both. So I think Hagler, especially at the start of the round, really like tucked in those body shots, like
Yeah.
just below the ribcage as well. And I think that's maybe what set off the kind of chain of events where Leonard went, okay, if this guy keeps hitting me there, he's going to knock me out, so I'm going to have to throw something to keep him. Oh, that's the best shot of the round though. That left hand.
Possibly might be the separator, because I mean they both landed
That's actually a good shout.
And threw a
Actually, I'll
load.
probably put that.
I think so, because I'm struggling to pick a winner, to be honest. They
Yeah.
both had success. Yeah,
It's very true.
very true.
It's just
indeed.
been so gutsy from Leonard though. Just all those eye-catching shots, but obviously quite a few of them do land
Mhm.
on the gloves. And obviously someone or was inside the head, but Hagler, the ones he were throwing were you could see clearly those ones were landing. And obviously you could see Leonard's reaction, obviously sagging to the ropes as you kind of said.
Yeah.
You could see the energy drain from that big shot to the head.
Great round though, that. One of the best, I'd say,
Yeah,
that you're going to see. I was literally just about to say that there. You know, this is living up to its billing, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, I think the majority of fans would have thought Hagler had won this by knockout in the first half, and now you've had an absolute war with Ray Leonard slightly ahead on points in the championship rounds. It's, I don't think there's anything quite like it. Hagler's just really winging those shots though. And he just does not stop.
Doesn't
throwing.
stop at all, eh? Like you mentioned before, it's like he's adamant to have the last say, isn't he?
Yeah, he was a true 15-round fighter as well. Just got a quick right hand down, then they go straight down line. That's a nice counter right he walked into. Not a lot of power on it, but still.
It looked
a
like
short
it was
sword
more of
jump.
a grazing shot across the forehead rather than a fully fledged landing. But hard to tell
and
from
that's
the
just,
angle.
I think it's just a matter of Leonard still losing quite a bit of stamina.
Yeah, he's definitely
just
slowed
happens
down, but then he does. I think he saves up for them bursts, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh,
And then he's really effective with them. Oh, that's brilliant.
Hagler just let this learn slip because I thought he had a slight advantage of throwing landed more. And obviously he was getting in quite a few digs to the Leonard's body, but Leonard's doing pretty well with the combinations now.
He's definitely winning this round for me. He's landing the better shots. He's knackered, but Hagler's kind of gone back into that mold of looking a little bit rugged and
Ooh.
lost.
Yeah.
There's a few where he's thrown a few wild shots that have really missed.
Yeah, I think Hagler must have tired of it now because
Yeah,
he
he's
should have been
looking-
throwing a lot more.
Looking ragged and tired.
Yeah, it's just those quick little shots from Leonard. May not be the strongest shots they're in, but he is throwing, he is landing them.
Yeah. I don't think he's got as much power in him as previous rounds, but I think that was a pretty clear round for me.
6 minutes for the title. Put your head down. We only got 6 minutes. Right, keep it sucker turning, baby. Six, baby. 6 minutes. Champion. I mean,
Does anyone know how many minutes are left?
Apparently Ray didn't. Had other things on his mind.
Last 2 rounds then.
start dipping to your right.
So let's see, going into these last 2, what have I got? I've got a handy lead for Ray Leonard, 97-93, 7 rounds to 3. What's your tally?
I've got a 6-4, 96-94, so
Okay.
Hagler could still maybe salvage a draw on my card.
Oh yeah, we had that run different way, that's right.
Confidence-building psych job. Whether that's the case is in the hands of 3 judges at ringside.
Tim, I think Marvin is going to have to win these 2 rounds to retain his title, and he's going to have to land some big punches.
I have Hagler at 5-4 with 1 even at this point.
Hagler 5-4
With one even, yeah.
with 1 even. It's interesting.
Dave Moretti from Las Vegas, Lou Filippo from Los Angeles, and
Oh, great shot.
He's got the shot. Beautiful combination by Leonard. Right hand, left hook. As Angelo told him, he said, come back with the hook, and he sure did. Another left hook by Leonard.
right hand lead.
Tim, it's a jab, but again, it's like a straight right hand. Solid punch.
Just thinking back to when I said I'd scored this fight previously, and I had a quick look at my old scorecard. Pretty sure I had Hagler winning.
Yeah.
So that's quite
many do.
interesting.
There was a Twitter poll that was ran a few years back. That had, I remember, maybe 1,000 votes, maybe 1,500, and the majority of people had Hagler winning.
Okay.
55-45 had Hagler.
He doesn't have too much left.
This one's been a more interesting round because it's been a bit more. I mean, quiet's not the right word, but in terms of actual scoreable criteria,
Yeah,
it's changing a bit now because they're starting to really
it's starting
tee
to
off
throw.
each other.
But yeah, it was a bit subdued, wasn't it, that first
Yeah.
minute or so? Oh, just missed completely there, though.
Yeah.
Well, we have to call him the Miracle Man after this, Tim. Anybody
Actually, that's Danny Jacobs, but I don't know that yet.
Is Jacobs even born at this stage? Possibly.
I was just gonna check.
Not.
Oh, look at that head movement.
I mean, he caught a slight bit on his chin. It was a scoring shot.
Yeah.
Beautiful move by Leonard. Tim, he has Hagler tamed now, Tim.
I'm struggling with this round because I'm thinking Hagler, because he's just coming forward, forcing the action. He's throwing and landing, but then Leonard's kind of got some good defensive movements going on and countering.
He's picking his counter shots in the last 20 seconds as well.
And they're more eye catching, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, right on the back. He knew that was going to be late.
There's Gene Hackman, apparently a big Leonard fan.
That's a pretty tough round to score for me.
Yeah, well, Angelo Dundee seem to think he's done it.
Sounds like it. Already got his hands up.
Yeah, I edged that last round to Leonard, so I've kind of got him in the lead now.
I gave that to Hagler.
They beckon each other out. Does Hagler feel that it all comes down to this 3 minutes?
Well, you know, Goody Petronelli in a corner, he was talking like it's about a 15-round fight. Where you started to get him going. I mean, I would have been a little more emotional if I was in the corner.
Leonard's got that kind of bounce to the step again.
Yep. So he knows that he's just got to kind of stay away and box, see out the round and win. Hagler, well, he's not really going properly for it, but he is a little bit more active than recent rounds, I guess, at the start.
But that's not what they tell him in a corner, Tim. They're talking to him like it's an IBM meeting or something.
Meeting.
Yeah. But Hagler's been a lot more consistent. And Leonard's just given him some decent air to put some of those shots, but he's still landed. He's really fighting this fight this round. Oh, and the combinations.
Jesus.
Crazy.
Leonard flurries against Hagler and now escapes from the corner. Ray Leonard is having fun in there right now. What a story.
He's looking at the corner. I don't know why.
So a minute and a half gone. Is that little flurry then what's winning the round for Leonard, do you think?
We have to call him the
I think it's probably
Doesn't need any help from the corner.
even, maybe 50-50 at this rate.
Yeah.
I think Hagler's consistency, especially now, is probably edging it in the 55-45 scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What the fans think of winning a fight.
Look at that head move, sticking his chin out and still landing with the left jab.
Very pro Sugar Ray crowd. He's doing
Yeah.
some shuffling.
Oh,
That's a
good
great right hand, yeah.
Leonard had some chin though.
What a cocky kid.
Oh,
Some nice body
tap him to
shots.
the rib
And
spot.
Well, this 30-year-old cocky
been wonder he had a bit more stamina. He could have pushed him off, maybe landed a bit more.
Yeah, that's a great combination.
Yeah.
I say, and again, I think the round could have swung. Like I said, Hagler put on a bit more pressure and was edging the round. Leonard's just,
Oh, this is nice one.
well, like you say, it's consistency, isn't it? And Hagler's been more consistent throughout the round. Leonard's scoring the nicer
Leonard's
shots.
knackered now.
He is knackered. yeah.
Oh, that's a big shot.
Oh.
There's another one. I think those shots from Hagler at the end of the round were really swung it though. He landed 3 really solid left hands
Yeah.
there.
Hey, I can go with that. Close round. Good round.
Yeah, he was like Ray Leonard was a 3.5 to 1 underdog by the time this fight actually happened. That was serious upset. No one really thought he was going to do it.
What's Hagler doing here?
Having a little shimmy.
I don't know what that was. He looked drunk, if anything. And there's the respect.
Oh, fantastic line. But do you want to know whose legs were shaky in this fight? Ray Leonard's in the 5th round.
It's true.
Something is interesting, and people do say that though, is that this is one of the rivalries in sport that never really ended.
Mhm.
After this result, I think Marvin Hagler legitimately hated Ray Leonard until he just recently passed away.
Yeah.
But yeah, despised the guy before and still hated him after the result.
It's quite sad, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Hagler always thought that this was a pure robbery.
Yeah.
He always believed in his heart that he won.
115, Marvin Hagler. 113, Ray Leonard. Judge Jojo Guerra scores the bout. 118, Leonard.
118. Wow.
110, Hagler.
The Adelaide Bird of back in the day.
It's a bit harsh.
And Judge Dane Maroney scores 115, 113. By the winner, by a split decision.
That's the same score as me.
I think there's Chevy Chase in the audience as well.
Why
Big
not?
Leonard fan.
Why not? The place to be. Well, there we go. That was the same scorecard as mine at the end.
Mine too.
115, 113, 7 rounds to 5. So we both got there in the end. Just different methods, obviously.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's just have a quick look at our scorecards side by side then. For those last 3 rounds. We had quite a lot the same here by the looks of it. So on 6 rounds 7 we had different. I gave that one, if we already looked at them, didn't we? Actually, we looked at round 8 last time.
Oh yeah, we did the first 8, yeah.
So round 9 we had exactly the same, but a significant punch. You've added the comment there, left hand from Hagler stun Leonard, best shot of the round. Yeah, both agree on that. Round 10, Leonard again landed the cleaner, more effective shots. Yeah, we said it during the fight, so we gave round 11 differently, and then the last round we gave to Hagler. But yeah, we end up at the same scorecard and very similar percentages. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Like I said in the stream, that looking back at my first scorecard, I'm sure I gave it to Hagler. I'll have to go back and check after the stream. So it's quite interesting to see how it differentiates, you know, when you watch it at different times, and again with somebody else as well, when you're discussing it as you're watching it. quite interesting. But that was a really fun fight. Really enjoyed it, and it was a classical fight as well. I'm sure there's probably some more controversial ones that at least Leonard's been in that we might cover in future. But yeah, if you're watching this fight, this video after the live stream in the future, and you do score along with it, put your scores down in the comments. It'd be interesting to see how other people scored it. So cool. I enjoyed that. Let's have a look then. Let's move along. We'll finish up very shortly. We've been going for a little while. Getting up to an hour and a half or so, which is always a nice time to call it a day. So we'll just have a quick look at what's coming up in future, and we can have a quick discussion. I think next weekend's action has quite a few decent fights on. Let's just have a look at BoxRec. What I'll do is I will ask you, Kaiser, if you're still around. Hopefully you are. Any of these fights catch your eye just at a first glance? Any that you're looking forward to?
I think particularly I'd probably say the Lubin fight versus Fundora. Obviously Fundora's massive.
Huge, isn't it? Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how Lubin is able to adapt something like that. I do think he's obviously a good boxer. He's got a bit of power. I think he'll probably find a way through, maybe on a decision. Well, it'll be good to see Fundora's level as well, how he adapts. At kind of the elites, proper, probably a top 5 at 154 as well.
Yeah. So you think Lubin's going to win?
Yeah.
I think I'm swayed by Fundora. He's so big, and he's
Lubin's
I think he's
vulnerable as well.
Say that again, sorry.
I think Lubin's vulnerable as well.
Yeah.
Just by pressure, he can always find a way.
And I think Fundora, just looking at his record now, he's got 12 stoppages in 18. But I think that's he's got kind of I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Not underrated power, but I think it's deceptive. Yes, deceptive. I think he's got some big shots. But yeah, I think it's probably the closest fight of next weekend, isn't it? On paper, it'd be really interesting to see it. I don't think I'll be staying awake to watch it, but yeah, just having a look at Lubin's record. Who was it he lost to? Oh, it was Jamal Charlo, yeah, in the first round. Did he just get caught cold or something? I didn't see that fight. 2017.
Yeah, I think it was just one right hand, if I recall correctly.
Right. Okay, so I guess it's not a bad person to have lost to.
True.
Yeah, definitely the pick of the weekend, possibly. Golovkin's obviously in action against Murata. How do you see that one going?
I think I'll probably side with Triple G at this rate. Obviously, I think the main kind of takeaway is that we need to see how far Triple G's kind of, decreasing in terms of his kind of potency as in the mix for like the number 1 middleweight. And I think he's going to be 40 by the time this happens, or he's going to turn 40 shortly after it happens.
I was just going to say I'm not too sure how old he is because BoxRec hasn't got his age on at the moment because he's inactive, I guess.
He's 40 in this April, so
wow.
Murata, people aren't massive fans. I know some people say he's rubbish. Obviously, he is top 10 middleweight. Obviously, middleweight's not stacked, but he is. He'll be able to show us where obviously Triple G's at in his career. Obviously, this is my opinion. I think Triple G at 40 should be in retirement territory. Obviously, he's had some wars as well.
Yeah.
There's obviously talk that he might move up for Canelo 3 after Bivol. That shouldn't happen at all. That's absolutely rubbish. I'm not even convinced it is going to happen because Triple G then has to go all the way up to sorry, I can just get in a word mix right now. It means Triple G would have to go up to light heavyweight. Or maybe they could beat super middle, but Kell seems to be bulking up quite a bit. So
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think that's gonna happen. But
No.
yeah.
And I don't think people. I don't imagine why anyone would want it to happen either. I know a lot of people are very sour and bitter about the whole, Canelo.
The first two
fights, but I think it's just long gone now.
Yeah, they're completely different stages of their career.
Yeah.
Canelo's in his prime, looking to create legacy, and Triple G's looking to get those last few paydays. Really.
Yeah, pretty much.
His brunt of his career is over now. Now the athletic prime is gone.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, also in action then next week is Tony Harrison against Sergio Garcia. He's the Spanish lad, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
Who lost to Fundora last time, unanimous decision. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, he has quite a big record, but I guess he just fought in Spain forever. Probably got a bit of a padded record. Tony Harrison's got a few losses. Any opinions on this one?
Not really. I can't remember the last time I watched either of these guys.
Tony
fight,
Harrison had a win over Jamal Charlo. He handed him his first loss and then got beat in the
really, in the
return.
rematch. Those are both two close fights as well, but had a draw against
And then
Brian.
there's a draw.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, maybe that's another pretty even fight as well. Was that on the same card? I didn't click through. I'm not going to look. Doesn't matter. Ryan Garcia is also in action. Okay, so that'd be quite an interesting card to see, I guess.
So this guy who drew Tony Harrison had a fight against Breedis Prescott in 2019, and then he drew Tony Harrison 2 years later. So Breedis Prescott's the guy who knocked out Amir Khan.
Amir Khan, yeah.
At lightweight. What weight was that at?
Super welter.
Jesus.
No. Yeah, super welter's light middle, same thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, light. God.
Breedis Prescott fight was at looks like it was at welterweight, that one.
Wow.
Okay.
What a strange career that is. Anyway, sorry.
No, it was a nice sidebar. Interesting. Yeah, Ryan Garcia is also fighting next week, was it? Yes, he is. He's had a bit of time out, hasn't he? Did he have...
yeah, he only fought Luke Campbell in,
2021.
January last
year.
year.
It was at the very start of the year, wasn't it? And then he's had a bit of time out for personal issues, I guess. Who's he fighting? Emmanuel Tago, who is a Ghanaian with one defeat. Looks like he's fought pretty much exclusively in Ghana, with the odd appearance in the US. I mean, I don't want to. After last week, with I don't want to say it again, but I guess he needs coming over here just to get beat off Ryan Garcia for his comeback fight. And I can't see Garcia losing this one.
Yeah, and he's not. It doesn't look like he's a puncher either. Because you can see 2016 he went 12 with Mazunka Fana and knocked him down twice in the first round. Terry Flanagan scored more knockdowns against Fana in that awful fight years ago. No one looked that up. If you think you want to watch Flanagan versus Fana, it was dreadful. Remember Terry Flanagan's WBO Reign of Terror?
Yeah.
It was, honestly, he put him down 5 times. Barrera stopped this guy in 2005. And they fought in 2016 or 17 or something. Anyway.
That was so random with Terry Flanagan end up as a world champion for that little period.
And he won his title against Cepeda as well, who fights at 140 now. And he won it because Cepeda
the injury, wasn't it?
The shoulder.
Yeah. That's crazy how their careers just went since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
It's such a strange sport. It really is. There's nothing quite like it.
Brilliant. Who else is in action then? The weekend after, we've got Conor Ben's back. Wow.
Oh, the legend himself.
Seems to have only been 2 minutes ago since he last fought. But it was last year. Wow, okay. Jesus, time flies.
Is he going to fight Ruslan Provodnikov? I think they're going to wheel out Provodnikov for him. Oh no, it's Chris Van Heerden.
Yeah, Van Heerden, sorry. But
Just find someone who fought at like junior welterweight in 2014, and that's like his
that's
ideal
it.
next
That's the
opponent.
next opponent. Yeah, so kind of event to look forward to. That's a couple of weekends away. Who else is on that weekend? Oh yeah, it's Spence versus Hughes. That'll be decent enough. Hughes is a top welterweight. But you know, he's probably going to get beat, isn't he? Let's face it.
I think so.
Thoughts on that one? That's an interesting fight, at least. Errol Spence. He proved last time against Garcia is kind of still there after his accident.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I think Hughes will cause him some problems.
Yeah, it's pretty slick, isn't he?
Yeah, he knows how to fight southpaws as well. I think if Spence is really on form, I think maybe you'll see a late stoppage. I think he might get to him.
Yeah.
Because I think Spence at his best is obviously legitimately world class.
Mhm.
I know some people like to say obviously his resume's not much better than Keith Thurman's, but there is something about Spence. Obviously, he's quite a decent all rounder. Good power, can take a shot. Inside outside. So it'll definitely be good to see that.
Quite interesting looking at Hughes' record. His only losses are always against undefeated fighters. So there's Johnny Garcia, who might have been kind of a bit of a prospect at the time. Maybe got a gift decision. Again, Manuel Robles, 9-0 with one draw, split decision. Imam, I recall, he was quite a decent prospect at one time, wasn't he? Ahmed Imam.
Yeah.
Quite a slick boxer. So, maybe that was a legitimate unanimous decision loss. Looks fairly convincing. And then just a split decision against Sean Porter, which, Sean Porter had a great run for them for a few years, didn't he?
Yeah, and that fight was close as well.
Yes.
A lot of people thought Hughes won that fight.
Yeah.
I think I had him nicking it. I think I had it closer, but I think I had Hughes like 7-5.
I'm looking at this scorecard here. 117 to 111. Looks like a shitter. just eyeballing it. So yeah, interesting. Maybe Hughes has had a few harsh decisions. He's 35 years old now, so he's getting on a little bit. But yeah, that'll be a decent fight in a few weeks. I think there's quite a few coming up in April, isn't there? There's Fury and Dillian White at the end of the month. Obviously, we'll talk again when we'll do a stream before that, so we'll discuss that more in future. And then Valdez Stevenson and Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano at the end of the month. So pretty decent schedule coming up for April. Quite a bit to look forward to.
Yeah, great month.
Yeah, so we will discuss all of that again as it's happened, and also in the weeks beforehand we'll make some predictions and whatnot and discuss it nearer the time. Other than that, I think we're done here. It's been fun. I enjoyed the fight, and I'm looking forward to the next one, which I guess we will do in a couple of weekends' time, if that's all good with you.
Yep, looking forward to it. Thanks for catching us all, those guys.
Alright, excellent. Okay, so we will be keeping an eye on the Twitter. That's where we put all our announcements and stuff. I'm at fight_scores. You can also follow Kaiser. Give him your handle, please.
At Kaiser_Koba.
Always worth following Kaiser. So until next time, it's been fun. Thank you very much. We'll see you all again soon. End.